Just Buggin.
Alright guys, what you see here is the Highway Flyer, brand new. Not a cheap purchase there, but a hell of an improvement. Time to get on the turnpike. And you see I have solid mounts going on this bad boy. Not quite sure how this strap goes, but my builder says it's not necessary because of the first gear in this. But I think that if it was a concern, that we should buy is a mid mount that goes right here and then comes underneath the wishbone, and then there's pads, because when you stab it, it's going to want to push the transmission up into the floor, and people have known to break the nose cones off of them. So we're going to see what we got with this, and we may add the mid mount to it later. If anyone knows where this goes or how you're supposed to use it, there are no instructions. I don't see anything on the internet about this. It's like people don't use it, and that's what I'm hearing too. So that can always be added later from what I see, but like I said, I think it should just get the mount here. Of course, it goes on 4 of these bolts, so you have to double nut it and pull the stud out and put a longer stud on it to accommodate the width of the mid mount bracket that goes onto it. So what I'm doing right now is I get my ghetto set up here, excuse the terminology, and it's empty. So instead of sitting there underneath the car or whatever, I always set up something like this to where it just takes forever for this gear oil to get in there, to go through the tube instead of sitting under a car or something. I just let it fill up, put a paper towel underneath it. When I see it starting to hit the paper towel, throw the plug in it and slap this bad boy up in. Right, here she is, the 74, which the Super Flyer is going to go in it. I'm going to call this one the Banana Beast, you know, like I named the other one Orange Crush. It's the Banana Beast. I mean, Dan's got a name for it too. I can't remember what it was going to be.
Nice name choice, but Dan named it the StinkBug, which he's gonna go with the StinkBug in German.
But might be switching that up, but right now I'm gonna identify with the Banana Beast. So as you see, I painted the gunmetal gray, which the owner wanted in here, and I've got brand new engine seal and bell housing seal. I cleaned up the wishbone, that's what I call it, and lubricated the studs down there. Get ready to stab this bad boy in there. And you see right here, we're going all out on this one. We've got the fresh, brand new CV joints. Yeah, boy. And then I got my red Loctite here, and my 8mm 12-point socket, my new bolts here. I don't have to deal with grease. Got my new little washers, and there we go, buddy. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nice and lubricated. Yeah, boy. The Impy VDUB 201 CV joint. Yeah, boy. So I'm gonna get that bad boy in here today. Bad boy, what you gonna do? Gonna hit the turnpike and run past you. Oh yeah. That's how we do it here at Just Buggin. So stay tuned. As soon as my gear oil gets filled up, put the plug in it and get on with the rest of this. And shortly my engine builder will be here, and we are going to get on with this fabulous build here. This one's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be a monster. 2254, 150 plus horsepower. So let me get the gear oil filled up and get that tranny around here, and I'll manhandle that beast on there by myself. That's how we do it. All right, guys, I got the Highway Flyer up in there. I thought I had a mess there. I thought the studs on the nose cone mount, I thought the studs were spinning, but it turns out the fine thread nuts that were on it were ate up inside, and the threads were still good on the studs, thank God. And I have an old chassis, 73, 74 chassis in the back that we stripped parts off of. Just so happened to have the nuts on it, and they were fine. They tightened down really good without slipping. So tranny is in there secured. Now I'm gonna get in here and get these axles on here. Probably gonna have to come back over and jack it and turn the tires, but I'll figure it out. So I get all that on there, and then we put the throw throw-out bearing in it when I get the clutch kit. And we'll be waiting to put the 2254 together. All the parts should be here next week when Rick gets here. And we got to set up a station in there for him. We'll probably do that this weekend. And we'll get to assembling the 2254, which will be put on video so everyone can enjoy it and see how it's all going together. And I'm sure the owner is going to participate and come by every now and then, so you get to meet him. So get on with getting these axles on. All right, guys, I'd like to introduce you to our in-house mechanic. He's very experienced on VWs and built many of the motors. His name's Rick. How you doing, Rick?
Good.
Welcome to Just Buggin. What do you think about the 74 Super Beetle build we have here? I guess what, 2254?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun build.
Yeah.
Real nice case. The camshaft is already clearance for stroker crank. You can see here. It ought to go right in there and be real fun when he's done.
Sweet. What size cam is that?
That is 534 lift and 298 duration. It ought to be a monster.
Sounds good.
We did get the wrong cam gear. These are angle cut gears, you see. We need straight cut with a cam this hot. It has too much preload on the cam bearings and it'll cause problems down the road.
Okay, good advice there.
Other than that,
That's
beautiful chrome moly crank, really nice aluminum case.
They call that the bubble top case?
Yes, that is a bubble top case.
All clearanced out for everything we're gonna do.
Yep. It's pre-clearance for the stroker crank, 94 millimeter bore and I think 82 millimeter stroke, I believe.
Wow. And what's the pistons we got going in this? Right here. Wow, look at there.
94 by 69.
Sweet. Well, we'll get back to describing that and what all's coming on it and the heads shortly. Well, guys, I think we had a great day here at Just Buggin. Rick is really a sharp fella and really knows what he's talking about, and I'm impressed. I'm looking forward to him finishing putting all this motor together and me actually being around and learning a lot more about it. Like I said, I'm not an engine builder. I've built a few motors, only one Volkswagen Beetle, of course, with the assistance of another builder that knew more about it. And I built muscle car motors, of course, a Chevy 350. Most interesting one was the 3.8 Grand National motor, but this is going to be fun. Looking forward to it. I think he's going to work out fine. What we got going on the 2054 today?
We are checking crankshaft in play, piston deck height, basically double checking the compression ratio, making sure all our tolerances are within spec, making sure we can put shims on the crankshaft, bring the end play on the crank to within 5/1000 of an inch.
All right, sounds good. We don't need fly cut now.
No.
Because we've got more idea of the figures of what the cam and what we're working with, huh?
Yeah, yes. As it stands right now, I don't believe we're going to need to fly cut, but you don't never know till the final measurement comes in.
Exactly.
And here we like to do things smooth and by the numbers.
There you go. All right, we're back on the 2054. Rick's getting some measurements. What you doing, Rick?
I'm measuring the deck height on the cylinders. We're trying to calculate compression, what we need for barrel shims to get the compression down to a manageable level so you can run it on pump gas.
Okay. And you already got the end play figured out, so we can get the shims for that.
Yep.
Okay.
It's coming along.
Yep. Got to make sure. Check. Hey, Rick, so what you up to with the 2054 build?
Well, getting ready to cut our push rods to length. So I got this adjustable push rod in here.
Yep.
I was just making sure that we had the piston on top dead center with both intake and exhaust valve closed.
Make sure we have the proper clearances.
Yep, that's exactly it. So before I start adjusting this push rod, I already know everything's where it needs to be.
So you put the shims in for the cylinders, right?
Yes, we have 30,000 shims. Right here's one right here. That's a 30,000 shim for setting the deck height on the piston so that you keep the compression manageable where you can get fuel to likely run your engine.
And that puts us at the deck height of 40,000?
Yes.
Okay.
We will have a deck height of 40,000 and that'll put our compression ratio about 8-to-1.
Okay. And that's what we need to have with the running the standard regular fuel in it. And
for a mild street build, that's ideal.
Right.
You can get gas anywhere in the country to run that, and that's pretty much what our customer wants.
Right. Alrighty. Well, get on with it, and we'll come back with some more as it goes. All right, where are we at?
Well, we had to modify our adjustable push rod. The because it didn't have enough adjustment in it for our current purposes.
It was a little too long.
Yeah, so we had to
just shy of a little too long.
We had to shave a little bit off the nut up, and right now I'm checking to see how much play we have. I'd like to get about 15,000 play in it. That gives us plenty of adjustment. You know, Volkswagen, some people adjust them at 8, some do it at 6, I do it at 6.
Yeah, because we're in Florida with the extreme weather.
Yeah.
Extreme heat, should I say. Yeah, so we just shaved that nut in half, a 10 millimeter nut, and put it back on there because it probably had 6,000 worth of play left, huh?
Oh God, yeah.
It barely fit 6,000 feeler gauge in it with the adjustable push rod all the way collapsed. So we needed to get it to go a little bit shorter, and looks like we hit it on the mark.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We got about 25,000 play in it.
So then you got room to extend the push rod.
That gives us lots of wiggle room.
There you go. That'll work.
This is Rick, Just Buggin. We're going to work on this 2054 today. Frank, if you're watching this video, I got to tell you, I certainly thank you for all your help and guidance. You helped us out immensely. Thank you very much. After taking it apart and putting it back together and putting it together and taking it apart, we finally got everything right. It's been a chore. Had to go to a little smaller camshaft. The FK8 cam was having clearance issues on the valves. They were wanting to touch the pistons, so we went down to a 120 cam and no more clearance issues. Finished assembly, we'll have about 220 thousandths clearance on the valves and a compression ratio of about 8.4 to 1. That ought to make for a nice running engine and a happy customer.
Hey guys, back on the 2054, really coming along. Rick's got it going on here, trimming up these Chinese tins to make sure they fit correctly before I get to painting them. It's going to be a gunmetal gray with chrome and cast aluminum look to it. It's going to be a beautiful high performance motor. I'm getting ready to install the vent windows and all the fun stuff with the trim and the felts and the scraper. Real fun job here, but looks like the felt is good right here. It's good to go. All right, get these on there and get that in the car so I can roll up the windows. Hello. Hey Rick, what you up to there?
I'm match porting the intake, so they made up perfectly with the intake ports on the heads.
Less resistance, huh?
Yeah, better flow.
Yep.
Open him up a little bit, you know. Every little bit counts.
Oh yeah, squeeze every little bit out of it you can safely.
Yep, that's it.
Alrighty, looking good. Replacing all the seals in the vent window. Now I've got the vent window in. When you do these scrapers aren't made very well, and they only have 4 hooks or retainers that go into the door. So what I like to do is take some black adhesive and put it on the scraper onto the metal, and because it'll peel it off, and your glass is in there, it's too late then. And I wanted to show you something. You buy this window felts or whatever, the tracking, I'm not sure what the actual name, nomenclature, whatever. But anyways, here's his leftover stuff. And it doesn't want to clip to these retainers. It came with the small one. It's got like 6 teeth, 2 full ones and 4 half teeth. And then this has 4 full ones and 4 partial teeth. So I put this in here, and the main reason why, this would have been sufficient if it was not some poor quality seal, felt, whatever. I should have looked it up. But anyways, you see this rubber? Look at that, look at that. That's gonna hook on that. How the hell is that gonna grab that and hold it up in there? It's not. Now try doing that to this one. Now this is for my 72, but you can tell it's probably been in storage for quite a while. But I mean, this is just cheap stuff. See how it's hard as hell. I mean, I can't get my nail into it or nothing. When that teeth digs into there, that bitch is in there. So try not to buy the cheap quality. It'll work, but I had to put it up in there with these, and then I put some weather strip adhesive in it. And then you can come back around with like a rubber mallet or something, put something in these and bend this over, it's aluminum, and shape them. I had to do the same thing to the 72. They'll start looking better. And when the glass goes in there, this will all stay apart. And you can see rivets and you wonder how the hell the glass doesn't hit it. But I thought it would on mine and it didn't, so So I'm gonna leave this up and let that weather strip adhesive dry, and then I will put the door glass in tomorrow, and then I can move some cars around. And we're gonna get ready for the break-in of the 2054 that goes into this one. We're replacing the entire wiring harness to a custom harness, gauges, and I might have mentioned the motor will be gunmetal gray. He's thinking about eventually having me come and put the gunmetal gray below the trim here, all the way to the running board and the fenders. So we'll see. I think that'd look awesome. I'm fond of gunmetal gray. I think he's calling it the StinkBug, but he wants the decal made in German. All right, guys, this is where we're at on the 2054. We're mocking everything up, making sure the tins are gonna fit properly. Had some fitting issues, figuring out what piping we need and everything for the full flow oil. And that's it, and then we're gonna take it back apart and paint all these tins, get it back together for the break-in. We need to get a cover for the fuel pump. My plate, when I have, doesn't fit this case, so that's where we're at. And we'll be getting back on this tomorrow. Hey guys, as you can see, this is the 74 Super Beetle with the highway flyer installed in it with solid mounts, gunmetal gray painted in the rear. This is the one that's getting the 2054. And as you can see the mess I made here, it's actually the first time I've ever removed one of these dashes. Wow. Totally different. We're replacing the entire wiring harness. It is just a mess on this car, and this is going to be, you know, basically a good street rod car, so it's going to be all custom. So I pulled out the dash, and Rick and I are going to have to get together and customize this full wiring harness we purchased to make it work for what we want it to do. There's going to be some eliminating wires and some wires that are going to be used for other functions, because this is a universal wiring harness. It has everything on it, so more than enough. It's what came recommended for the car, and you know how that is. It's going to work just fine. We're just going to start from the wiring harness and the schematics that they have, eliminate some of the stuff that we don't have options on this car. And I don't know if he's going to be going custom gauges yet. I don't think so. Got a lot of money in the motor and transmission, you know, the complete drivetrain. So I have to get with him on that. I may end up unplugging everything from here, and see all this stuff is undisturbed, and then using these wires to make what we want to function. What the hell's that one for? Yeah, interesting. So, and then we'll run our wires up for the headlights and the blinkers and the fuel sender, and run everything to the back. I like the harness that's in this already, except there is no light harness that comes back here. Actually there is, and this is a good harness. Yeah, there's the other light, generator, oil pressure. So we'll come in to here where it comes up here, and this is it right here. We can branch our new harness into this. So that's an idea, and we don't have to run it back there. This is my extra fuse box. You know, I went to pull the steering wheel off, and it had a whole lot of putty in the bottom column, and it just released itself and came right out. So now I got to pick up the fuel tank. It's a good time to replace the flexible fuel line and everything back to that area. So I'll pull that up. Somebody's been there. The grease looks real fresh and red down there. So somebody didn't tighten that knuckle up, and you don't want that to happen in a 150 plus horsepower Beetle. So actually kind of a good thing that I was going there and getting that out of my way. So that's what we're going to start on today. Custom wiring harness in the 1974 Super Beetle. All right guys, as you can see, we're running a custom wiring harness, and since we're not going to be using the blower and everything, I'm going to seal off that vent right there, and we're going to mount the fuse box inside here to cover over it, so it'll be easier to get to it, you know, and without getting on your back underneath. If you need to change a fuse, just pull out some Phillips screws and pop the cap off, and that's all you have to do there. So I spoke to the owner, and we are going to come up with some custom gauges and everything while we have the dash out. That would be the optimum time to do it. So we're going to run all our wires through the car, and then we'll be finishing up right here with all new gauges when we decide the setup that we're going to put in here. We're going to look at some other examples of what people have done with this. I've never pulled this dash before, and it's completely different, and so your options are different as far as a standard Beetle or earlier Super Beetle with the flat dash. So going to see what examples of whatever people have done with custom gauges on these 74 and later Super Beetles. So that's where we're at now. It's not looking as bad as it did when we started. So hey guys, I've got the 10s for the StinkBug. They're looking really nice. It's the first coat of clear, so it will even look nicer. All right guys, this is the 2054. We are almost ready for the break-in. He's about to put the dual carbs back on it. We had, you know, test fit everything before and then take it all apart and paint it all. So this is a unique muffler here. It's just hanging, he's got it pulled down to get the tins on. So we should be breaking this in tomorrow. Hey guys, Rick's got the 2054 all together now, and we're about ready for the break-in. Hook up all our ignition and our battery, and he's topping it off, and he's gonna back flush, get oil into the oil pump, all the lines and everything. So we have everything filled with oil before we crank it up. So she sure looks good. That is a beast. Stay tuned. All right, they're getting closer by the minute. We have oil pressure now. What did it go to, like?
60 pounds on the starter.
And these hoses are just for temporary for cranking it up on the stand. We're gonna be putting much better hoses on it. Boy, I preset the carburetors and also the timing, and it's gonna have all MSD on it. So this is just for the break-in. That's what we're gonna do to make it easier for the break-in, and then we'll slap that on when it's in the car. Might have to do a little fine tuning with it then. We're possibly gonna make a hole in the sides and under the fenders. Easier to tune these carburetors. So won't be long and we'll be cranking this bad boy up. Well, we've got spark now, we've got fuel, we've got oil pressure, and we are about to have it start. Here we go, fire in the hole. Hey guys, so we're about 20 minutes into the break-in. Looking good. We have just a couple of small leaks like the oil pressure gauge and then back at the filters, but you know, you can't freaking interrupt the run of the break-in on the cam. So it's great, man. Real responsive. Hell yeah. Well, we're going to continue to break in for the cam for about 30 minutes, and then we're gonna stop it, let it cool down a little bit, fix those oil leaks. You know, that stuff happens, but nothing significant or severe to stop it in the middle of the break-in of the cam. So we're gonna correct that, and then we'll run it again for probably about 30 minutes, and should be fine. We're real happy with it. It's maintained at about 65 PSI at about 2,000 RPMs. We'll have oil pressure, 65, so that's pretty damn good. This one right here is a 2276, and when it cranks up cold, it's about 80 PSI. When it drives around, it's about 60, so really happy with it. It's gonna be a bad machine inside the 1974 Super Beetle called the StinkBug. So we're done with the break-in of the cam, and so what do you feel, Rick?
Well, all in all, I'm very happy. There's not a big hole in the block, so we must have did something right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oil pressure's good, temperature's fair. You got to expect a little high temperature when you're first breaking in a brand new engine. There's not a one huge part anywhere in this.
Right, so it's got to break in and seat everything, and you know, it's not going to get to its, you know, optimum performance until it's broken in.
Exactly, it's not really harmonious until we reach that point.
Right.
But other than that, you know, we got a few minor oil leaks, but there again, brand new engine, first time been fired.
Right.
There's going to be a few little bumps in the road.
Oh, and those are only at fittings, so it's nothing.
Yes.
It's just we were dealing with 100 PSI when this thing started, so.
And idling, warm, 60 pounds oil pressure.
Yeah, that's.
And that's idling at about 1,100 RPM.
Yeah. That's great. So what do you put in the setting for the idle on something like this?
I like 1,000 to 1,100.
Yeah, because it's better cooling while you're sitting still. Yeah.
With a VW engine, if you're not turning that pulley, you're not turning your fan.
Right, and you're not cooling.
Exactly. A lot of people like to treat them like they're a Chevrolet. They are not a Chevrolet.
Yeah, don't idle that at 725.
No. This is a completely different critter. The only thing it has in common is it takes spark to ignite the fuel.
Yes. Yeah, well, you got that right. All right, we're gonna let it cool down, and then we'll deal with those small oil issues.
Yeah, we're gonna do another valve adjustment. Once it cools down, we'll check the oil, we'll top the oil off, we'll have our oil leaks fixed by then. And,
right, good to go. Yeah, that's great.
Dan's gonna be a happy man.
Yes, all right. All right, guys. I'm gonna finish off running this about another 30 minutes. Had to correct a few small oil leaks, so the sending unit here, and then a fitting on the back. So adjusted the carbs a little bit more. All right, Rick, looks like we're done with the break-in.
Yeah, for the most part.
How you feel about it?
Happier than a tornado in a trailer park.
Yeah, so all we had is just a couple of weeping sending units and a fitting.
Yeah.
Before.
A couple little minor oil leaks.
Yeah.
We went ahead and labored through those, broke in the camshaft, fixed the oil leaks this morning, pulled all the spark plugs, they all looked good. Readjusted the valves, that was all looked good. And from there on, it's just been gravy all morning.
That's great to hear. Yeah, it sounds really nice. So now all we need to do is drop that oil and
yep,
fill it.
We're going to change the oil. We're going to pull the oil filter. Going to cut it open. Look inside there, make sure there ain't nothing ugly, which I don't believe there will be, but you never do know till you go look.
Yep, until you open that bad boy up.
Oil pressure's good. Warm at idle, he's holding about 45 pounds oil pressure. Sure does like the RPM, boy. You tap them carburetors, he hits 5 grand right now.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be a beast in that.
What are you doing?
I am going to christen this nice, beautiful 2054 with a sticker if my gorilla fingers will work for me today. Here, a gorilla to the rescue.
Just bugging. Eat that, Mike.
Greaser.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a bad guy.
No.
You know,
I just don't
it's
like
just
to be
that-
done wrong.
yeah, you know.
Good enough?
Sweet.
There we go.
Hey man, what you got going on here?
Oh, well, it's Sunday after Thanksgiving, and here's the fresh rebuild 2054. And let me show you what I did to the StinkBug. That's what we call it. That's what it's going to be named. And as the owner requested, Dan, which you saw in one of the Bug Jam videos, you can't see it, can you? I mean, look, you got new insulation in here, new seal, but why is this here? And why is this here? Well, see the bolts here? I'm notching out the fenders to where you don't have to remove the fenders. This is a removable rear apron. And now you can't even see it. Really, the only thing you see is here, and that's how they come, brand new, the whole rear apron. It attaches here. You have to spot a weld here. So leave this open, and the seals still meet, and it's not gonna have any problems with anything. So we can remove this and drop it in there with the intakes on the dual carbs, and then slap the carbs on, and bam, we're set. But he considered this because of the accessibility, and it's much easier.
I brought up the idea.
Right, I mean, and I've actually taken it away from this and put one back to the way it was supposed to be. But he wants to get a rear apron like my 72 back there, where there's no notches in it because his exhaust doesn't need those. So we're just gonna go with this right now. He's got a lot of money in this build. It's gonna be a really high performance bug, so we'll get to that later. Right now, I'm gonna deal with this, and it looks great, you know? So if you're gonna do it right, man. Do it right. It's gonna look sweet. Only way we do it here at Just Buggin.
Hey man, what we got here?
We got Dan's 2054, the mean machine he calls the StinkBug. Get it all up in here now, and I think we have the carburetors covered up, but we got the MSD all up in here and the breather. We've got to mount the cooler on top of the transmission, and as you see, we all have a brand new wiring harness, so that's what the holdup is. We're rewiring the entire car, so stay tuned, and we'll have this thing running in here, and get to check out this bad boy out on the road.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
Just Buggin.
Hey man, what we got here?
Working on StinkBug for Dan.
Nice.
Been getting the wires tidied up and figuring out what goes where and soldering them together to where they jive with the VDUB plugs. We got the fuse box mounted and all this spaghetti in here. There is a headlight wiring harness. It's all attached and pretty well done. Just gotta tidy up the loose ends and finish putting her all back together.
Nice.
Tidy up them loose ends.
And you'll see a dash and a steering wheel.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this build. This was the first stroker. It is and was the first stroker motor that we've ever built here at Just Buggin. And if it wasn't for Rick Mullins coming along and saving the day and all the people that participated in this build, we really like to thank you all. Frank Falone at aircoolfool.com.
We got some advice from VW Jawbreaker while we were at Bug Jam, and we thank you.
Definitely,
for that,
definitely. Yep. And we'd like to thank Bert, Scott, and Nicole down at
The
VDUB
VDUB
Factory
Factory
for supplying the parts. And at moment's notice, you know, it's right up the road.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fun, and we're almost done. You know, we're tied up in a bunch of wiring right now.
Which said it was a painless wiring harness. But
yeah,
it's not painless.
I'd really like to find the guy that called it painless.
Yeah, he's getting a laugh right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a full custom wiring in it, so it's a monster. But so is the car, the StinkBug. It will be a monster. Thanks to all of y'all.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And don't forget, we're going to be at the VW show in Sanford. Yes, Sanford, Florida on January 16th from 11 to 6. They're going to have the car show there. And we just so happened to have a Dune Buggy arrive yesterday. And I knew it was a Manx Dune Buggy. And I had no clue that it was a trophy car. He mentioned it, but I didn't know of the company trophy car and what it meant. And I didn't know it was a manufacturer of them back in the day.
We thought a little trophy car.
Yeah, I thought it was a trophy car. I didn't know. I mean, I don't know everything, and sometimes I say the wrong thing. And leave a comment. Let me know. I'm trying to learn too. You know, there's a lot more to this than what? It's almost 80 years.
Yeah.
Volkswagen. You know, so there's a lot of people that know a whole lot more about it than we do. But you get to see the car. Dalton took some photos of it and everything, and it still has the plate on the front of it.
It says
Trophy cars. Yeah, from Sanford, Florida. So check it out and be at that car show. We'll be there. Bring your mask. It's all good.
Thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, and have a Just Buggin' of a day.
Just Buggin'. Here, when we
2 feet.
Hey, wait, this is the behind the scenes, how we make this happen. The magic at Just Buggin'. This is where my place is.
This
Get
is
in
my
here,
place.
Greg. Okay, I got it, boss. I can do that.